Okay, so let me pull this up really quick and then we are all set. Okay. So to give a brief rundown of the last session, so we all know exactly where we're starting, where we begin, and how things are moving forward. Last time we started directly in combat with the two beasts that you'd stumbled upon in the mine complex. The large winged beast flying down from above, and as combat began, Avis, you took a defensive position, basically bastioning yourself with your large tower shield and holding what you thought was the only way through. Ultimately, with hits going back and forth, as well as a strange sickness spreading through a few of you, one of the cloaker beasts was able to break through your defenses and sunder your shield, Avis. The other cloaker beast, seemingly aware of a secondary exit and bursting through behind the line of defense, only to be quickly jumped upon and laid low by those because they stuck in the back line. Overall, you all came out of the battle relatively healthy. Some damage, but nothing critical, and nobody was set unconscious, right? So no new wounds hanging around or anything along those lines. As you pressed forward, it became clear that this area wasn't just a natural cave that Callum and his fellow miners, I said his real name, Obadiah and his fellow miners had broken into. This was purposely designed, pillars acting as foundational supports, stairs heading in various directions, and ritual circles inlaid in the ground at various locations. As you explored, you came across what looked to be a large stone sarcophagus. That's a better word for what I was trying to describe last time without saying coffin. With a plain wood top and a smooth stone exterior. Deciding to search it, you threw open the top, it barely hanging on before the wood splintering off and the lid just slamming down, flipping onto the ground. Inside was left bare. However, on the interior, in what Obadiah thought was very, very old dwarvish runes, as best as he could translate, would be kind of like a writing of protection. Something along the lines of keep all that is within safe. Moving forward, you passed another large ritual circle, as well as felt the cave, or I guess the tomb that you were within, kind of rumble just a bit. However, out of sight, out of mind, you pressed on until Avis realized that you were effectively in one of the Shiramese crypts. You had taken the stairs down and stumbled upon a large actually, I'll give this to you. I don't know if I gave it to you last, but a large summoning circle with a large stone cauldron sat in the middle of the room. 4 tombs within the corners of the room. As you started to inspect the area, a soft white light emitted from within the stone cauldron. Thumping heavy sounds echoing in the room that some of you were able to figure came from within the tombs themselves. Deciding, fuck this, basically, and that you had seen enough at least to make Darius happy, you all made your exit. Obadiah, fighting an unusual urge to either turn back or at least find some more details about what happened to his friends, kind of pulled back, into wanting to be pulled back, but able to fight it off, I should say. In any case, yeah, the whole crypt itself started to collapse. Heavy sand spilling down and all around you. You all rushed to the exit, narrowly escaping as the crypt and its entrance was lost to sand and rubble. As you all took a breather, looking around and ensuring that everybody had made it out alive, you realized you were unfortunately not alone. A troop of individuals standing there, each wearing bronze masks covering their entire face, displaying the visage of a distraught man. These were the Tears, the sad men, known by a few names, ultimately the shock troops and personal guard of the High King of Krasny. And they had their weapons drawn. That is where we pick up. Thank you all for your commentary in the Discord. Very hilarious. And let me go ahead and get some music going, and we'll pick up directly in this moment. Okay. So. Right. So, as we begin, each one of you is kind of, I mean, you just rushed out of this this collapsed, crypt, as best as you can tell. Sand all around you, covering your armor, maybe even covering your face, your eyes. Maybe some of you are kind of blinking back some of the sand, trying to, maybe your eyes are tearing up a little bit to try and pull away and stop it from blinding you further. So, as you all stand there, immediately you can see 4 of these tears, these sad men. They each have their short swords drawn. They're all wearing the typical kind of bronze scale mail style armor that they are seen, and they're all just standing there basically waiting for you to make a move. So they haven't said anything. The mask and the distraught face upon it just continue to stare almost straight through you as they wait to see what's going to happen. So,
to begin, I would like to kind of hold up my hands in a non-threatening way, and I would just like to smile at them with a very, very kind smile.
Okay.
Are there archers on the roofs that would suggest an ambush, or is there a chance they might just be here on an evening patrol, if you will?
As you look, I mean, it's just 4 of them. There's not any archers. There's nobody has,
Okay.
like, it's just the 4, and they each have their weapon drawn, and they're kind of standing defensively postured, right? Like, ready for a fight if you were to approach them aggressively. Almost like they're blocking the way. Kind of like the effect it gives you, right? Because they're all spread apart about equal distance from each other, each with the weapon drawn, and the only way out now is through them, right?
Alice is gonna rest her shield on her foot and fold her hands on top of it. Clearly not a threatening gesture, but also not exactly letting her guard down too much.
Okay. So we have.
I suppose.
Go ahead.
Phil.
No, go ahead. I was just gonna recap, but go ahead.
Yeah, I think Heel would kind of start the discussion, seeing that everybody else is just doing nothing, and not that Lucky and Esther can really speak to their situation anyway. So we'll kind of like cough up some of the sand and then start. Evening, gentlefolk. Mind if we move this conversation away from the risk of further collapse? No hand on his weapon, nothing like that.
Yeah, nothing like that. Okay.
Casual, polite.
You step forward.
Yeah, just a small step.
Small step. Okay, kind of.
Non-threatening, not like.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just kind of out of the background, basically.
Mm-hmm. So as Esther, as you've smiled, right? Avis, as you've kind of taken this, kind of like almost like a weary stance, I guess, right? Like leaning on the shield, you've got it down. And Keel, as you've kind of, stepped forward, like trying to initiate a conversation. It's a strange effect because they're unmoving, right? They haven't even like shifted in their boots or anywhere, right? Nothing about them has moved. They're like statues standing here with weapons drawn. So as you kind of step forward, Keel, right, say a few words. Obviously, like in Krasnian, right? So it's not like you're.
Yep.
Um,
And he's not going to translate either
yeah.
for now, just because.
Yeah, just straight out looking to talk to him.
Don't speak in another language while in front of the guards. It doesn't look good.
Oh, do you like whisper that to the others? Like, don't say anything.
No,
You know?
no.
Okay.
I wouldn't whisper that, but he's clearly intentionally not.
Fair enough. So they kind of stand there, still unwavering, just yet. A few moments pass. Just when it kind of gets to that awkward state of non-reply, one of them will move to sheathe the short sword, right? And then the others will kind of take like a more... They still have their weapons drawn, but they'll take a more casual stance. And this figure will kind of take a step forward as well. Speaking in Krasnian as well. And behind the bronze mask, there's that, that like echoing kind of effect that a mask would, kind of blocking sound give you. A voice kind of comes almost it's not whispered, but you can tell they're definitely not talking like brazenly. And they kind of speak out. A slave of vile blood, and from what I can tell, a foreigner, playing around in the Krasny mines at night. What do you have to say for yourself?
There are no slaves among us. That would be your mistake.
We work for Darius himself. We're here on his business.
You have proof?
Not on me, though I can provide my contract later. He's been, there have been some suspicious events as of late. Thieves in the night, mining, as well as an incident that happened to this miner here, as Keel kind of gestures to Obadiah.
Yeah. Who's still there? Still there,
And it seems he was correct. We followed a few suspicious individuals in, and at some point the tunnels began to collapse.
Yes, many suspicious activities, but none more suspicious than the one I lay my eyes on now.
Throughout all of this, Esther's like maintaining her smile, nodding very affirmingly to everything that is being said. Especially the last part, although of course she doesn't understand anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm doing the same.
Yeah.
Well, I understand a tiny bit, but like I probably wouldn't get most of the conversation.
You've been nodding along, Esther?
Mm-hmm.
And the
I know
the guard will take a
Obadiah's
moment. Will
Yeah, I know Obadiah's not here, but would he have had like a work pass or anything that Keel could acquire from him?
Yeah, like you give him like a sharp nudge to the ribs. As you're doing that, the guard's going to take the opportunity to kind of open his hand out in gesturing towards Esther specifically. See, it seems even your companion is aware of how suspicious the moment is. As Esther kind of nods along, right? But
She doesn't speak the language.
But Obadiah will kind of quickly, go fishing around, and we'll say Obadiah wears like a coat of some sorts, right? And kind of pull out. And yeah, Obadiah would certainly have. It's like, but essentially is like a work permit that allows you to be within the mines, and he would kind of like offer it up.
And the whole time, Keel isn't showing any signs of like I'm not supposed to be here. It's just Esther who's sabotaging this slightly, but not in a bad way, Rose. But anyway.
Yeah. So Obadiah offers up the work permit. The masked individual kind of step forward and take the permit, kind of giving it a look over.
We were driven deeper through the tunnels by some winged creatures. Our miner friend said they're common here.
Indeed, we found one having been bled out not too far back that way. He's kind of saying this as he's really focused on the paper. Well, it seems at least one of you has your paperwork in order. If you truly work for who you say you work for, well, then whatever story it is that you have about what went on, why you are here, it's not going to be for my ears. It would be in your best interest for you all to leave your hands off your weapon and accompany us out of the mine.
You would appreciate the escort.
He will crumple up the work permit in his hand, go to pocket it, kind of quickly turn his back to you all, and start to make his exit, leading the way as the others kind of stand there with weapons drawn, waiting for you all to follow in tow.
Yeah, Keel would just go.
Yeah, we'll say Obadiah as well.
Yeah, I'm following.
Okay. So kind of one by one, Lockie and Esther having to kind of figure it out by body language, right? Seeing the others start to walk, start to follow along, right? I guess we're getting out of this, so to speak. 'Cause none of this has been translated to you so far. It's just been kind of like a
yeah.
It's just been kind of an obviously tense conversation without any resolution so far. So, as you all start to make your way out, one of the masked, the tiers will stay in back. The others will kind of ingratiate themselves amongst the group, while the leader one, or I guess the one that has taken lead so far, will be at the very front. Retracing your way back out isn't very difficult. Heading this direction, there was only one way, right? This was like a new offshoot to the mine, and so making your way back isn't very difficult. On the way, you would
trying to
pass,
remain casual about it.
Yeah, on the way back, you would pass by the bloodied and quite obviously dead corpse of the cloaker beast that, based on the wounds, you can assume that it was Keel and Lockie that were the ones to kind of really put the final, the finishing touches, so to speak, on this cloaker beast, having bled out as it looked to fly away. The leader doesn't even really seem to register it as you pass by, continuing out and into the, I guess, like the main, I don't know what you would call it, intersection of the mine. You know, the routes all the way throughout, you know, open to you. He'll kind of turn. Which entrance did you all make your way into the mines from?
Our guide led us in. I'm not familiar with the particulars. He kind of glances over at Obadiah.
Yeah, whatever. Kind of speak up. You know, the main one. You know, and kind of motion with his hands towards the direction. Right. Well, we'll be taking another one. Exit. Kind of puts his hand on his weapon. This will be a bit uncomfortable, but I assure you, it must be done. We have to block your eyes. The path that we go cannot be known to any of you. Will you put up a fight, or is this agreed?
Of course not, though. Our healer, she can't speak Krasnik. I would like to take the opportunity to explain it to her.
I figured. Do as you must.
Yeah, and Keel will kind of turn to Esther and, you know, say we have to get our eyes covered / whatever they're gonna do. But again, they'll say, you know, they're just let them do what needs to be
They would
done.
like me to close my eyes. Very well, but
I believe it's more than that.
I'll keep my ears open.
Stay compliant. And Keel will also turn to Lackey and be like, you know, did you understand enough of that?
I've been around these types of folk to know, you know, what they want, so I think I have a grasp.
All right.
Proceed.
Yeah. So, he'll just kind of give a nod, and the others will take to, yeah, essentially, blinding you, right? Closing off your eyes. Leaving you in the dark as they lead the way. They will put a rope around each of you all, right? Just a guide, right? So nobody gets lost along the path. It can be quite treacherous at some points. Just be careful where you set your feet. You know, we will not rush you. So, basically roped together, keeping you all kind of in line. You will start to make your way, you know, blinded and roped together. You'll start to make your way, being led through greater portion of the mine. You can immediately tell, based on the fact that from where you're standing, when you get your eyes covered, your head covered, you do not go the direct way that would lead to, you know, the way out. You take a sharp turn, all of you kind of to the right, and then kind of slowly walking, you make your way through. Overall, this portion of travel basically is going to take about 45 minutes to an hour, roughly within that time frame. As you continue along, it's very boring. On occasion, you know, the leader will kind of call out, you know, stop, take it slow at this point, you know, and kind of like really help to guide you all so that nobody takes a false step or anything. Not gonna make anybody roll, right? That's just, it just is, you know, you're paying more time than anything else, right? But after about 45 minutes to an hour, you finally come to stop, and you can feel the air, fresh air of the exterior, breezing past you, right? You've stepped out of the mines into the open, and you hear with a loud kind of like stone on stone, right, before a heavy clicking into place. You assume that the pathway in that you had just taken is obviously private or something along those lines, guarded at the very least. By the way the wind is blowing, and by the way the travel through the mines felt, you feel that you're quite high on the edge of the mountain, right? On the outside, you didn't come out on the base level. Like, you essentially almost like went for a hike on the interior of the mines, and now find yourself out in a much higher point within the city. Before we move on, is everybody comfortable? Is everybody safe? Just like a final check, kind of calling down the line.
Fine, thank you.
Right. I will assume you speak for the rest. So.
Yes. Sorry, Mike didn't pick it up.
No problem, no problem. No, I was actually reading something. Okay, so. Damn it, sorry. Trying not to cough too much. The covers over your head after some time are kind of pulled off, and at this point, you're at a place within the city that is so high up that you can only see kind of below you, right? You can see just how high, in, you know, you can see the bay, the ocean that kind of is from that direction, right? You can see all out into it. You can see the moons kind of lighting up the ocean itself, and then just the dim light of the city below. Yeah, you are considerably high within the city of Krasny, in an area where, again, you're only going to be running into extremely important people. So, right.
Sure, this is stressful for everyone else, but this is quite nice for Keel.
Yeah. The rope is cut, so all of you are kind of unbound from each other, and led forward. You are essentially in front of this very. It is built out, so it is on like the cliff face, right? So it's not built within the mountain. This very. How do I describe this building? It's well built, but it looks almost like there's nothing in particular about it that kind of catches your eye. It's almost like if you were like walking through this area, so many of the buildings and homes at this point, at this scale of the city, are very large, very grand kind of design, and like almost each of them are like a piece of art themselves. And this is like just like a bland kind of squared, large building. I'm gonna say here, Avis, you could probably give me a. You're from the city the most. You've got most. I guess you can give me a society check here.
Will do.
Yeah. With a 22. you having been, you've been raised in the city of Crossing, right? So you know all the little rumors, you know the fears of the citizens, the, you know, everything all kind of wrapped together. This building is known. It is said that many who find themselves in the hands of, you know, the tears or the sad men, are taken to a nondescript building and are never seen again. They're tortured, they're, you know, many horrible fortunes befall them, essentially, right? As you stand here, these are like stories that individuals in the city will tell you, right? You know, like, they snatched up, you know, somebody, you know, so-and-so. I haven't seen them for a week, right? Stories that this is what, you know, happened to people. And as you kind of see this building, you know who you're with, and you're being told to, you know, make your way inside.
If you care to indulge the question, what are we being accused is a strong word, but what are we being accused of?
Well, we just have to ensure that you are who you say you are. You are connected to who you are supposedly connected to. He kind of says this as if he doesn't really have much belief in the whole dairy kind of connection. In any case, if you are indeed who you say you are, and you are working for who you say you're working, then it will just be a bit of a nuisance, but you'll be on your way shortly.
I would like to turn to Keel at this point, basically ask him, like, what is this people are wanting from us? It's been very long with the sack on the head, and now it's this, like, why? Explain, please, Mr. Keel, what is this about?
Keel kind of takes a minute to respond because he's not really sure how to explain the situation in as few words as possible. But, you know, after a minute, he's like, we're being investigated. Whether or not it's fair investigation, we'll find out. Just stay quiet for now.
I would consider that unlikely. I was just kind of says to you while passing.
Yep.
Enters the building, I guess.
Right. So you're led inside. As you make your way in, it's very nondescript, right? There's a few plain chairs, there's a few there's like a sign-in kind of station, so to speak, but it doesn't look like anybody's sitting there, right? There's just a set of papers, you know, kind of all kind of scattered around in individual piles. The leader will kind of just, you know, motion towards this long hallway. Just at the back here, we'll find a place for you all to sit and wait. And once the information has been gathered, then all will be well. So, leads you down this long hallway. There are doors on either side. The doors themselves look very well built, and there are like little what do they call them? Like little like look-in points where you can kind of lift and like see through some grates, you know, and then like inspect the interior of the room and then kind of close it. As you're walking, there's this loud banging sound as if like someone's trying to break their way out of the room, right? You know, boom, boom, boom. That they're punching and hitting the door. The leader was just kind of, you know, don't mind that. continue on, and he will lead you to one of the rooms, and you'll kind of open the door. On the inside, there are 4 plain wooden chairs to sit in, or 5, I should say.
Gil is ignoring it, by the way. Very.
Yeah. Just wait here. We will look into it. We'll reach out, speak to Darius, whoever else, and see if you are who you say you are. So, you each make your way into this holding cell of sorts. No bed, nothing to like lay on. It's just the ground and 5 sets of chairs. You all make your way in. The door will shut behind you, and with a heavy lock, you'll hear it multiple clicks into place as it. You're essentially jailed, so to speak.
We're in here alone, right? Sorry.
Yeah, and
Oh.
it's just the 5 of you left to yourself.
I do wish I could be reassured by the fact that I didn't take our weapons away, but... Oh well. I should have a crowbar in here somewhere.
Gil is going to.
Just in case.
Gil is going to sit down and. There's no like windows in here or anything, right? Like from the hallway, not outside, just like to look in. Other than
No, it's just the only way to look into this room is that single, and it's just enough for like a set of eyes to peek, right?
Gil will.
On the door itself. And it's closed currently.
All right. Gil's going to take that docket that Darius gave him earlier and just look it over real quick here.
Oh, right. So for the first time, right?
Is it written by Darius as well?
It looks like so as you kind of open up and flip through. Crazily enough, some of these documents are just legitimate Dukanese documents. How they survived the fire, how they ever made it their way out, how they came into the possession of Darius in the first place is completely out of mind, right? How the fuck did that happen?
Yeah.
But it's essentially, like it's description of you, your place within Dukan, who you're connected to, right? A familiar name is at the top of one of the pages, and it's I don't know, maybe not a name you want to be reading right now, but in any case, it is there.
It's going to make a bit of a face and scratch at the chair a bit, but he's going to pull out 1 or 2 things that might be relevant to proving his identity, and put the rest away.
Okay.
Without
Yeah.
revealing too much information, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, absolutely. And the docket itself isn't like the.
No, it's just.
Yeah, it's just
Stuff.
it's more like proof of who you are than anything else.
Yeah.
Like, there's no. There's probably existed at one point, right? Some other documents that would have been a lot more condemning of Theo.
Yeah.
But those don't seem to be here.
But yeah, Gil will just pull out some relevant ones.
Right. So you're doing that. The rest of you, Obadiah will just kind of take a seat. Maybe give out some like advice, like best not to. I don't know what Obadiah would say. It doesn't matter. But Lockie, Avis, and Esther put into this cell, so to speak. You've got the floor, and you've got a chair.
What are we doing? What's happening? Please explain. Are we trying to escape here? Are we going along with this? Because people who look like me don't last long in situations like this. And if I knew we were going to be put into a cell, I would have taken my chances with the banging and glowing light. So please, someone tell me a plan.
What did he say, Keel? He sounds upset. I'd rather share the sentiment.
He's stressed, and rightfully so. He'll kind of translate for. He'll translate from here on out.
Yeah.
Basically, just didn't want to do
Cool.
it in front of the Sadman, where we're like, we're discussing secret plans in front of you.
Yeah.
But now he's returned to translate.
Cool.
All the while, he's not looking up either from just like whatever he's doing too.
What is the big problem for us? We can just wait for the friend of Mr. Keel, and he will say, "Ah, yes, this is the friends of me," and we will just go home. No?
Yeah.
I wouldn't rely on Darius to vouch for us, to be honest.
I wouldn't rely on Darius to pick us a nose. The thing that they say about this building is that there isn't really a way out, or at least the people that leave it aren't seen again. Which calls into question where the stories come from.
But it's a very bad story. You should have told me perhaps before we went into this. And she would like look actually kind of upset about the situation as well, slowly but surely.
Yeah, absolutely. They just go along with it, right? That Keel has kind of been feeding you, every step of the way. Is now kind of come to a point, right? For you all. At least for Lockie and Esther.
Feels like well aware that people just die here.
Yeah, absolutely.
But he's
I mean, we don't really have options. Either they would have run us through outside, or they're going to put us here, probably forget about us at some point, and we can make an attempt at an escape. Those bars don't look terribly sturdy, do they?
well, from my perspective, we have two choices. We go along with it and hope it works out, or we make an enemy of the despot himself by going against his roots.
So they wouldn't necessarily have anything to gain from just, murdering us. If they wanted this, they would have done so already. So
Well, it's unwise to kill indiscriminately. You never know. Kill kind of trails
she would
off
give you
as
a
he
very,
says
very
that out
certain.
loud
She would
to-
give you a
to
very
Esther.
certain look.
He doesn't. Yeah, he doesn't finish that sentence. It's just like kind of like coughs a bit. It's like
Oof.
yeah,
Alright, so-
he's just very quiet now.
How I see this, we have not many options, but one of the options is to just talk to these people and tell them the truth. Maybe we should do this.
Why were so many of them there? I mean, I understand it's a restricted area, but they were in a group. It seems like they were expecting something. Would Darius have told them we were there? Like,
Oh, yeah.
what? Were they expecting us?
I wouldn't put it past him.
If they were
If-
expecting us there, then we're
if
not
they-
getting out of this alive.
Yeah, if there's something to be gained for Darius from all of this, then he's going to sell us out.
And there was that other figure as well who, I suppose, died. I don't know. We didn't see them. We didn't go that way. Something's not right here. I don't trust just waiting this out.
No. Maybe you're right. How
So-
far up are the windows to the cell, and how thick are the bars?
There are no windows in here. The
Oh,
only
It's just a
Jesus.
door with the
Yeah.
little eye slit.
How sturdy does the door look?
Okay, you can give me like a crafting check, I guess, right?
Oh, where's
Um,
Obadiah when I need him?
Yeah.
He also says, like, don't do anything stupid as you're examining
No,
this door.
I'm just looking.
Yeah, just give it a look. Not too.
I'm
not
just
too crazy.
looking. This is a hypothetical.
18. these seem very... I mean, nothing is indestructible, right? Surely there probably is a way through. But with an 18, these look quite sturdy. It looks like if you do something, or however you decide to make your way through, it's gonna be tough. The door looks... It looks wood. It looks wooden. But on like further inspection, maybe even give it like a slight little knock, you know, like not loud enough to kind of alert anybody else, but to kind of give yourself a sense of what it's actually made out of. That seems to be more of like the purposeful design choice on the end. The door feels like heavy, like a heavy form of metal. Dense, yeah.
I'm assuming there's no like lock on our side or anything like that, right?
Yeah, no.
So if I had to wager, I guess it would be easier to wait until it is opened, but we would need to deal with whoever opens the door in that case.
But if we do that, we automatically tell them that we are guilty of whatever they are accusing us.
Well,
It would also not be
think-
wise.
I would think they already think we're guilty. The justice system of Krasny has flaws.
I think the play here is to be vigilant and be ready to create a distraction or something, but this isn't the best position to be making enemies. Gil's right about that.
Yeah, we'd need to get off the mountain before they catch us at any rate, and even then, getting out of the city is going to be a nightmare. That is if we get that far.
Keel, you are awfully silent. I see
Yeah,
you.
Gil's been quiet
have those
and pretending to be
papers.
cool, and you can see that he's like starting to like scratch at the chair a bit, just like absentmindedly.
You're the only one that can really convince them of anything. I mean, you're the one who got us here and not skewered immediately, so what's your plan?
Is the hope?
So,
Well, go ahead.
no, sorry. Go ahead first.
Well, the only way out of these situations is using who you know. Oh, we just have to hope our connections are enough to get things sorted. So, nothing happens within the span of some hours, then we should consider alternative arrangements.
And who do you know in Krasny, Keel?
Well, Darius,
And you trust him?
oh,
Good.
but people
So-
like that don't.
So maybe counting on our connections isn't the wisest choice.
Well, there's it's about trust as much as it is about people get out of keeping the other alive.
Okay. What
Darius
is-
Darius does not want us dead.
No, but how many people knew we were going into these mines? Darius might not want us dead, but he certainly wanted us here.
Didn't know we were going in tonight, and these are the Despot's men, not Darius's. I'm not sure quite yet of his relationship to his cousin, whether it's particularly favorable. I don't feel too strongly about the possibility of him intentionally selling us out to his cousin. He wants this information for himself. It's his mine. It's the only thing he has. So, just have to
And-
hope that they actually talk to him.
I mean, in that case, being let's say, allied to Darius isn't really going to do as much good either.
Not necessarily. If they dislike each other, no, we can tell one the information from the other, and the other will like us.
It's only if we have information that they would want.
That is true. While we're sitting and talking, can I go patch up my wounds?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Great.
And again, yeah, like one thing to make note of, you still have all of your equipment. Nothing has been taken from you. You have your weapons, you have whatever you would have had on you, previous to anything, right? Nothing was taken from your person. So, to be clear on that, right, if you were jailed, I mean, you can take it a couple of ways, right? Maybe they just are completely unworried about you having weapons, and it doesn't make a difference. Same with armor, but either way, just something to be aware of. You want to go ahead and yeah, like without having to make rolls or anything like that, you're able to patch up any little wounds or any, essentially get yourself up to full health, right? Feel free to do that.
If
You'll
anybody
go ahead.
is in need, I was just going to extend that service out.
Oh, right. Let me see. I think.
Though I
Okay.
think Esther did a good job.
Yeah, I think Esther. Yep.
Cool.
Gil is gonna, after taking a few chunks out of the chair, he's gonna get up and actually, one of the things I purchased is a deck of playing cards, and he's just gonna go play solitaire in the corner on the floor. Pass the time.
All right, I'm drawing myself a little square. So we've got Keel in the corner. Okay. We got
And the
Avis.
The rest of us are sitting in an awkward triangle, given we're missing our translator now.
Well, he's translating still. Just, we're not, the room's not that big, is it? I think it's like, what, like 10
What's-
feet across at most? 5 feet?
Yeah, it's probably like 10 by 10, right? Like,
Yeah, he's right
Solid
there.
square.
He's just.
Yeah.
He's not like turning away from you guys. He's just
yeah.
distracting himself with something.
So Keel's in the corner, and the others are kind of just almost in like a, maybe not a circle, but like in their own little kind of square or something. Perfect.
Yeah, at this point, Lucky's just waiting around for whatever shit is gonna hit the fan soon. Probably also not really saying much anymore.
Fair enough. Right. So. You.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead and go.
I was going to say, I think Esther's going to take this time to think very harshly and quietly while making some flower crowns.
Okay. Fair enough.
Oh no.
Think very harshly, indeed. So. Perfect. Yeah, so as you all kind of take a breather, take a bit of time to distract yourselves, keep yourself busy, right? There's not much conversation between you all, right? You've kind of just settled on. Hey, if something in the next couple hours doesn't happen, then maybe we should be on edge, right? And yeah, so other than the sounds of like the cards and the occasional kind of a few words spoken to, here and there, it's largely kind of quiet as everybody kind of sits in solace, trying to figure a way out or the next move or what's going to happen, and the waiting time continuing to kind of tick, adding to that pressure. Very difficult to tell how time passes in a room without windows, right? You don't have access to the exterior. You knew that when you came out, it was still well into the evening. But other than that, ever since you've made your way into this building, time has kind of started to feel a little bit weirder. So what could have been 30 minutes, potentially 2 hours, maybe even 3. As you're all kind of sitting around, sudden loud unlocking of the door rings out, right? The bolts, one after the other. And the door will kind of swing open. And standing there will be, you kind of quickly, pick up your cards, right? The sound kind of makes you all jump, but ultimately the door swings open, and standing there is very well dressed. This deeply tanned skin, black hair, black facial hair, in like a trim, very neat beard, kind of like, situation, very accentuating of like the jawline, right? All that. A human, quite, say like around 5'8", at a full height, will kind of quickly step in and close the door behind. At first glance, beyond the clothes being quite regal in themselves, they have what is an obvious short dagger hanging at their left hip, and at the right is what looks to be a rapier. And you will kind of step in. Kind of look around the room a little bit, but quickly lays eyes on Keel and stays there. You are the one who speaks for the rest of these people, are you not?
He will stand up very quickly and be as proper as possible.
He will kind of quickly stride across the room, right up to you, and put a hand out in order to shake your hand.
He will.
All right, so he kind of gives you a bit of a quick handshake. Kind of quickly turns to the others, gives like this this smile. If anybody wants to give me a perception check here, please do so.
Oh,
He'll-
definitely.
Sure.
Oh yeah. Where the fuck did perception go?
All right, so 25 with Esther, 20, 26. Okay. I'm not gonna roll for Obadiah. So yeah, I guess the first person to pick it up, Keel, as this person shakes your hand, there is a very intense attempt to come across as nice here, right?
Yeah.
This is a person that is very, very good at deceiving people.
He'll would be very familiar with this kind of.
Yeah, but you've seen through it. This person who's now has your hand firmly grasped. You've seen it a lot with in your past. Not you yourself, but those who you've known employed people like this are evil, right? This person who has your hand, firmly in their own, is an evil person. They do terrible things. And you are quite aware of that. For Esther, you see this individual, and I guess the same for you. You get a familiar reminder in your past when you traveled along with somebody. Francisco. Whenever Francisco and the others had a mission, right, had something planned out, as nice as Francisco could be, as everything he could have been, right, all the positive. In those moments, he was a very scary person. It's like there was nobody behind the eyes, right?
Mm.
And I think that is what you're picking up on. Like, you see him, he turns, he's smiling, and he has the smile of somebody that should be trusting and charming, but the eyes just give it away, and it just leaves you with this kind of feeling of dread climbing up your spine. And Lockie, damn, I guess I'm gonna say it's probably because of your own background, right? In a lot of ways, you yourself kind of are one, so you can see through the lies, right? This person means no good, is the feeling that you get. And I guess I'll say for Avis, just like a cold chill kind of crawls up your spine, and you're not really sure why. I've been informed that the 5 of you were found in the mines, having just narrowly escaped with your lives. Presumably, at least word that has been given to me, is that you were sent down there. You had some sort of an agreement with the leader of the Smelters Union. We're still looking into that. Don't worry. If it is the truth, then it will be the truth, and that will do quite well for your story. However, I have been informed that there is potential that you yourselves destroyed part of the mine. You may have been down there up to no good, and all of this is just a smokescreen of the right names known to buy you a little time. So, I think it best if we get down to brass tacks, right? And I'm gonna ask Keel, would you resist this next thing from happening? Yeah, go ahead.
Before you start, I think Keel's strategy here is, knowing these people. Yeah, I mean, Keel knows how to emulate this behavior himself.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he'd want to kind of make an impression here, either with intimidation or diplomacy or what have you, of being of the same breed, and that so to speak, that his connections aren't falsified, and give that same kind of feeling.
Okay.
Just be like in a very gripping his hand a bit tighter, and being like, I understand completely where you're coming from, and so on and so forth.
Fair enough. Yeah, go ahead and roll me whichever kind of check you want to make. Intimidation.
Yeah, they're both the same roll, honestly.
I guess whichever outcome you prefer. Yeah, well, 26. Very nice.
Yeah, so yeah, he kind of grips his hand tighter and it's like, gives like the eyes, like, yeah, I know what you're about here.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. Yeah. And
We'd be
yeah,
happy to ensure our connections are accurate in whatever way you find necessary.
Perfect. Yes. Kind of smirks.
Just everyone else, Keela's.
Yeah. It's like a very weird conversation because you've been holding each other's hands this whole time, right? And you're like continuing to shake it, and you're kind of talking at him, right? Like he was kind of addressing everybody, but then you kind of, spoke up really quick before, he kind of made, got to like a point that he was gonna, be making.
It's steering the conversation to Keel's control, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, he looks at you and he smirks and he kind of nods his head along with what you're saying. Right. Yes. You really do speak for them. I guess there's more to you than... Okay.
We wouldn't want Darius to, or any of our higher up friends to have to deal with any fallout of misunderstandings.
You're absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. Yes, he will kind of finish up taking your hand. And yeah, I guess you hadn't... Maybe you did notice. Maybe that's kind of what led you to make the move. He had his other hand on Dagger. And as he kind of continues to shake your hand, or kind of like finally
Keel has
finish...
claws.
Yeah.
That are like, his nails are just positioned in the wrong place for this handshake.
Yeah. He'll kind of just, like let go, and yeah, you feel like you kind of calmed his approach for the time being. Well, then I guess there's nothing to hide, and if there's nothing to hide, then we don't really have to go about this the hard way. In fact, we can just go about it the nice way. So, I'm gonna need to know why. I know that you were sent down there. I know what you told the masked ones. I know how that goes. But unfortunately, that's not enough. So,
Well,
I think it's best we take it from the top, friend. In a lot of detail. What do you say?
You've put us in a difficult position. We wouldn't want to betray Darius. But, or rather, I should say his reputation. But I presume you know the man as well as I do.
Yes, it is hard to avoid the leader of the Crucible itself.
So I do hate to say this, and I hope it remains within this room. But, he's not the most sensible when it comes to superstitions and thoughts of the occult.
Indeed. Yes, my first cousin has quite a lot of fanciful ideas. I do not doubt that you are in his service. I just doubt the story that you told the others. I know he likes to keep your kind around. kind of looks to you, looks to Naki.
Keel doesn't respond to that.
And she is known, kind of looks to Avis. He owned her at one point. I guess she has returned. These other two, I don't know.
I always do.
Who is this one? And he kind of points to Esther. Esther, it does not feel good to be pointed out by this guy. Especially when you don't really understand what's being said.
I tag along. He
Right.
has very competent healing magic.
Kind of he'll kind of walk across the room, and he is approaching you, Esther.
I would just like to extend my hand while keeping my smile up. I have like a feeling regarding this guy, as you said, and I want to play along. I want to play like Esther is pretending to be completely naive, has no idea what's going on.
Fair enough.
She's happy to finally meet the friendly-faced guy. That's kind of what I'm trying to convey to him in my emotions.
Yeah, you reach your hand out, and he kind of actually sidesteps, and he starts to like circle around you. Like you reach your hand out, he doesn't take it. He kind of instead starts to like circle and look, like he's like looking you up and down. It's a very, very uncomfortable feeling. And it's on purpose. Keel, without even having to make a perception check, as he does this, he is looking at you more than anything. Like he's looking at Esther, but you can tell that he's doing it specifically to get a rise or to get some sort of reaction, either out of Esther, out of you, or any of the others in the group, right? You can tell this is on purpose to try and,
And Keel's gonna just ignore it and maintain composure. Disinterest.
So, reading the situation, I'll just, say, perhaps I could say hello in Kresnian and then follow it up with, I'm Esther, in the more common language.
Okay. Did you say hello? I'll say that you know well enough to say hello, right? Like you can't speak it fluently or anything. Like you're just now kind of like coming into contact with it, but I'll say that you've been able to pick up a few
Readings.
a few phrases. Enough to say like hello, my name is Esther, right? Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll kind of do like a faux surprised face, like kind of look to Keel. At this, he'll actually reach out and he'll shake your hand.
I'll put on my very best impression of a genuine smile.
Mm-hmm. He's looking very close at your flower crown. Bit too close for comfort?
Yeah, let me just adjust it very slightly.
Yeah, you're looking to
inconspicuously.
Yeah, make me what is it? Is it like stealth? Or it's not stealth, it's like a sleight of hand or something?
Yeah, I think it's... Yeah, it falls under...
Thievery, I think.
Thievery, I can do that.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
With the 80.
Yeah, he's looking a bit close. You kind of... You do it in a way, it's almost like as if you're trying to present it better, right? As he looks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You feel pretty confident that you've hid what the flower... Well, you've done, you've hidden what the flower crown is meant to hide, right? Right. So... Well... So I'm assuming then that Darius sent you into the mines based off some occult stuff. What would that
So
stuff
our minor friend had a head injury. Lost his memories. Darius suspected it must be something magical or what have you. So he enlisted his and he kind of gives like a almost like disdainful look towards Lucky
Yeah.
here. His what's the word I should use for him? Fortune teller? Yeah. His
Yeah.
fortune teller to a reading of the area, find out what happened. You can see the mark on his forehead is unusually shaped enough to cause suspicion.
Right. Yeah. The guy will kind of notice Obadiah and get up close to him and like poke at the at the mark on his head, right? Like push his skin into Obadiah's like skull, right? Right where that mark is. Huh. Okay. So, what did you find?
Unfortunately, the mines were unstable. There were some beasts within that had destroyed some of the walls. And the deeper we delved, they quickly began falling once we headed in. We decided investigation was of whatever this is was not worth our actual lives. So I insisted Obadiah escort us out.
All right. And the crypt just came tumbling down. An unfortunate timing that you were all there when it happened.
What are the chances?
Nothing interesting within the crypt itself?
They looked at some old stone boxes, but they appeared to be empty. Or an old stone box, rather.
Right. Okay, well. I do not feel you are being 100% forthcoming, although I do not get the feeling that you are lying to me either. I guess you do owe Darius a bit of loyalty and hope that he too will supply you with that same loyalty to get you out of this mess, which he may or may not do. Ah, well. Then I guess that's that. He looks to you, Kyo. What is your name?
You may call me Keel.
I will
Keel
not forget.
Damian.
And you'll kind of point to his temple. Well, word will have reached my first cousin. So, it may not be longer till we have word back.
A pleasure getting the opportunity to meet you.
Perhaps, Mr. Keel, could you ask the man if there's something we can do for him to help him in doing his things like a little faster and better?
Looking over, does it look like he? I mean, it's really likely he'd understand Dukanese since it's a trade language, right?
Yeah, he 100% heard
Yeah,
what.
yeah.
What
Yeah,
Esther
exactly.
said.
Yeah. Keel can figure that out because this is like the man himself here.
He will respond to you,
Yeah.
Esther.
Keel's gonna say outright, actually, like he can understand you.
Yeah. And he will speak out back to you, Esther, in Duganese. I assure you, we are doing everything as quickly as possible. So, these things just take time. In order to ensure that nobody slips through the cracks.
Oh, I understand, of course. I had no idea I was talking to a man of such culture and knowledge. That is wonderful, no? Well, then we shall wait patiently.
Mm-hmm. Kind of gives like one final look. His eyes resting on Locky. He kind of shakes his head like, ugh, you know. And then he will exit the room, and the locking sound mechanism will loudly click into place behind him. Yeah, so kind of left alone again. Anybody say anything like that? Shared between.
No, but Keel's demeanor goes back to his usual, like he's turned off the polite / intimidation mode and goes back to being his mildly stressed looking resting bitch face self and sits back down.
Right. So, Avis, it took you a second because you hadn't seeing other members of the family, right? The high family of Krasny. You don't really see, I mean, you see them on occasion, but it's super rare. The person who was just in this room is one of the sons of the High King. So you've all just been introduced. Not entirely sure which one, but one of, and there are a couple of them, of the High Princes of Krasny. So it just kind of strikes you now, like, oh, like that's who we were, that's who that was, like, dealing with us.
Yeah, I think she was sitting in the back of the room, quietly puzzling it out while trying not to jump his face, probably.
Yeah, especially after the slave comment, right?
Yeah. I think she turns to Keel now with much the same expression. Because I don't think she's forgiven him for that comment either.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
It's like, Keel, you seem awfully comfortable with these people. Is this something you make a habit out of?
I prefer the term familiar rather than comfortable.
Yes. Is this something you do more often than your parents would suggest?
Well, not here, but unfortunately, yes.
So why are you in Krasny?
Well, the only place to go, really. Think about it.
Krasny's a shithole.
Well,
What's the rest of the
Hans-
world like for you that you come here?
Khan's ashes. Still at war with Bogmodir. So, definitely can't head north. The war will eventually come to Visegrad, our colony, as well, which is itself facing another war. Vrana, the islands to the southwest, are in the middle of a civil war. And while I had originally headed to Kalor and Duvir, there was natural disaster, we could call it, that I mentioned earlier, leaving the continent somewhat not favorable to stay upon. So Karth is the obvious continent of choice. Valdirus is landlocked, and I like the sea, so staying along the coast just makes logical sense.
Sure, let's go with that. For now.
So now that one of us almost got shanked, are we still maintaining? Do you think you have a handle on this kill?
Well, I've done all I can at this point, I think. If this doesn't work out, well, we have to use force, but I think the Despot's son and I have an understanding. Or if that was information was revealed, I suppose.
Sorry, come again.
I believe the man and I have an understanding. There's no reason not to follow through on it. I'll just leave it at that. All we can do is wait now. And at this point, Keel is going to give up on remaining calm and just be pacing, basically.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Pacing around the room, right, back and forth. Indeed. So, yeah, and again, time is a very weird thing. You know, when you're stuck in a room without access to the outside, how much time passes, really difficult to tell. One thing that does set the tension a bit higher is while you're all waiting, there are very prominent sounds of screams, right? Screams of pain. Yeah, right. It's screams of horror, right? Every now and again, even through the thickest, even through the walls and the doors, these sounds kind of echo out, implying some sort of unfortunate fate falling others that are also contained within this place. And as time continues to press on, that strange, unsure nature of how time is passing. Finally, again, the sounds of clicking and the door swinging open, and stands there. Hard to tell if they're any different, but one of the masked men, one of the tiers. Stands there. He has his hand on his weapon, and he kind of surveys the room before kind of, calling out. It seems everything checks out. You are free to make your leave. and he'll stand back, allowing for you to exit the room.
I appreciate the quick turnaround time. That's all Keel says as he not runs, but walks slightly quickly out of the room.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, very much a pleasure to make your all acquaintances. Very nice place. Just gonna just keep nodding and smiling widely.
Yeah. Did you leave? Yeah. Absolutely.
I'd probably leave closer to the end after other people.
Yeah, I think Ducky and Avis have the same idea there.
Okay.
One's
Yeah.
probably looking out for one side and the other one for the other one.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, Obadiah will kind of head out, and then Lucky and Avis, right? As you head out, maybe a bit on guard, right? Wondering like, oh, is this like a trap? Is this a trick? As you exit the room, the masked man will just close the door and immediately lock it back into place. And then just point with a hand, down the hall. This way, please. So, Keo, having been the first to kind of exit and start to make your way down, who else but the large frame of Darius kind of stands there. You can tell that he's a bit disheveled.
Is this sleep?
Yeah. He was certainly asleep. He's standing there and he's speaking to the High Prince, having a bit of an animated conversation, right? Darius kind of towers over the High Prince, right? The High Prince isn't a very tall guy, right, as previously described, and he's quite young. Darius is, well into his adulthood. Just a large individual indeed. Yeah, he'll, even at a distance, you can tell the conversation between them is a bit tense, but as you appear, the conversation, like there's a knowing glance between them, and then the conversation will kind of die down, right? And Darius will kind of turn to you. So, Keel, nothing has befallen you, right? You are right. Not a single hand was laid on you, and you have not been hurt.
No, nothing of the sort.
And the others?
All was polite as expected. A few minor injuries from the mine itself, but
You were sure of this? Not a single injury from this one and his sad men.
we were confident we had no reason to resist at the time. But there's kind of like a subtleness to Keel's voice, like
Yeah, and the High Prince is like looking at you too, like, fully expecting, like, yeah, we didn't do anything, right? Like, you're fine. You can tell there's a bit of expectation there.
nothing happened at all.
Right.
Over and done with very quickly.
Yeah. Darius will kind of just, raise an eyebrow to the High Prince. Right. Well, I've come to collect you then. I'm sure there's much to be spoken about. Glad to see that none of you are injured.
Make it up to you in whatever ways we can.
Hmm.
Coming out this late, it is well past my bedtime as well.
Well, at this point, you can kind of see it's basically the morning.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Gil's just being.
Yeah.
We're having the usual kind of chats that these people have.
Absolutely. So, well, let's not dawdle about in this place. I do not like it very much. You are free to accompany me and enjoy a I don't know, a refresher at my own home. Or do whatever you want. I don't care. And Darius will kind of look to exit, and out front there is a carriage waiting for him.
Yeah, we'll follow and kind of look behind at the others and if Avis and Lucky come into view, a look like about to like it wasn't Darius didn't set us up here. I don't know if that makes sense.
You.
But kind of like encouraging you to follow with. Keel would like to go into detail.
Okay. Yeah.
His sense of obligation, I suppose. But it's up to the rest of the party if we insist on.
Yeah.
Thing.
So Darius is in the carriage, but what would anybody else like? Would you like to head back to your own quarters? Do you want to take up Darius Summon's offer? Avis, you have the tavern that you've been playing at. Esther, I would say, since you've been here, you probably have a room at one of the local establishments. Lucky, you obviously have your own place, and Keel has their own home.
I would definitely love to tag along.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think Lucky would want to, but kind of also knowing how to play the game a little bit, I think he's going to follow along as well.
Fair enough.
So for others, might be unwise to be alone at the moment.
Yeah, fair enough. So, so you all kind of, one by one, load into the carriage. I'm gonna say, yeah, I guess Obadiah will tag along. Yeah. And so you are make your way through. The interior of the carriage is extremely well crafted. Darius himself kind of takes up a good portion of the interior space. But there's enough for the rest of you to kind of squeeze on in. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like Darius and like Keel on one side, and then the other on the other side, just kind of a bit squished in. Whereas Darius' side is like only because of how small Keel is, right? to ensure like there's a bit of space there. As you travel along, they've told me quite a bit already, but so I will assume that based on what they've said, it sounds pretty pretty clear. But is there anything that you held back from saying to the others that you would now tell Darius? Or could it be assumed that whatever Darius has heard so far is what you would like to tell him anyways?
Okay, so out of character, Keels would just start talking, but unless someone wants to stop him from doing so, though he is very particular with information.
Lucky's still basically in don't speak until spoken to mode.
I don't think Avis has anything to say to Darius specifically.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I think Obadiah would like, go into like, we were there, we saw this bright, white light, but I felt a certain draw, right? That's what kind of Obadiah would say. I felt like a draw. It was calling. It was, you know, something about it was calling me to it, and I felt an intense urge, but I fought against it because of the, you know, the building was collapsing, and I didn't want to get caught and not be able to assist with, you know, the future portion of what other events may come. So Obadiah will kind of like lay it out like that to Darius. But yeah, I guess like other than that, it'd basically be what you've already kind of spoken about already, right? Like, you know, went down there, maybe you saw a person, you heard them screaming, right?
Yeah, Keel would have, you know, phrased it like, you know, in the interest of keeping our arrangement equitable. That's everything.
Yeah, right. Okay. Yeah, so Darius now knows about like the ritual circles, the summoning circle, right? The stone cauldron, the stone sarcophagus, tombs, all that. Right. So a Shiramese crypt. Well, that is one thing to break into. When all of this happened, I was quite certain that it might be something along these lines, but this gives us a good foundation for figuring out, you know, what is coming, right? It seems so strange to me, a lot of this prophecy stuff, you know, in the past, you know, and with yours now, kind of motioning towards Lucky. It always has to do with the Sharam, right? So, to find it all connected is not a surprise, but it is good to have confirmation. So, we will be retiring to my home. I am sure some of you are in need of rest. It has been a long evening. You haven't had being stuck in that forsaken building, questioned by those masked men. I am sorry for that. As soon as the information was brought to me, I did everything I could to get you out as quick as possible, but there's a lot of baggage between the high family of Christ.
Well, this was my first time experiencing it firsthand, you could say. It's not unexpected. Krasny and Dukan are quite similar in many aspects.
Indeed.
I'm assuming Keel is, I don't know if
Yeah,
is Keel
Keel's
everything?
translating. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, of course.
I would ask Keel to ask if there is some sort of token or mark that we could carry with us in order to avoid a situation such as this in the future.
A mark. There absolutely is a mark that you could. But it would.
Yeah, well, not like that.
Yeah. I guess Avis would be very familiar, right?
Avis is trying very hard not to say anything.
Yeah.
Oh, but I will need new paperwork.
I am sure that I can situate you all with the appropriate paperwork, something to have on person so that no longer bothered like this. Although I did tell my young first cousin a thing or two, you know, when I had his ear. So the masked, the tears, whatever you want to call them, I do not think they will be giving us much trouble moving forward. However, I cannot say that you will not ever face trouble. The game that you must play, that even I must play, between me and others in my family, is quite a difficult one. Right? Any opportunity we have to, state ourselves over the other one, we take it. So, while the token, while the paperwork, whatever I may provide will certainly help, I won't say that it won't, it will open doors everywhere for you.
Feels kind of like, gives like a nod, like I'm sure I'm well acquainted with the sort of procedure. There's no need to explain.
In any case,
You understand when I have to play the same game in those situations.
Well, with your past, I would hope that you are competent enough to play that game. In fact,
I just wanted to be clear of my loyalties. I admit I had to speak slightly ill of you in front of your cousin.
Yeah, to earn his favor, even so slightly. Yes. Do not worry. If I am to speak to Anton, I believe, I may have to do the same. You understand? It is the game, after all.
Speaking of games, Darius, you wouldn't happen to know why they were down there in the first place?
Well, there is a lot of there's been quite a bit of activity down there. It seems, or at least word has gotten back to me, the output from the mines is not as great as it once was. The volume is not there. There's fear that the mines may be running low, which is a ridiculous fear, but the other one is that people have been sneaking in and stealing quite a bit. Whether that be from, what's been left behind to be gathered following day and such. But yeah, this has been a big talking point. They're doing a lot of scouring of the mines to stop those that are looking to steal the riches. So that is what they say. That's what they say, at least. Go ahead.
Those are harsh measures to employ.
Yes, but, when those in power see that the very thing that keeps them in power is under threat, they're always going to employ harsh measures. In any case,
Keel hasn't been translating this part of the conversation, by the way.
Okay, yeah.
Spacing out.
Yeah, Darius will kind of stretch a bit. In any case, I've done a bit of research of my own, and I think I've come across some fascinating information. We will go over it once we reach my home, and after you all had a chance to rest and recuperate from the sour night that you have had to experience. So, I guess Avis could translate that part of the conversation, right?
Into what?
Obadiah can speak Losian, but I mean, it's not like Keel's doing it on purpose. He's
Oh, no, I was saying
no longer paying attention.
Well, I was saying the Krasnian part, right? Like,
what's she gonna translate it into?
Oh right, shit, fuck.
But Obadiah can translate to Elosion.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, we got
Obadiah
this.
Obadiah will do it again, and yeah, fair enough. All right, and so, you continue on the ride to the home of Darius. And unfortunately, I have to end here. The sickness is hitting me pretty fucking rough now.
All
So
good, dude.
sorry, guys. But yeah,
A natural stop.
Yeah, I've pushed through. Try to get like to somewhat of a natural ending because I'm fucking phasing out with sweat. But alright, give me a second. I'll sign out on the stream and everything. I'll be back in just one moment. Alright, thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Yeah, I'm sick. At this point I think it's like COVID or some shit. I don't know, but the sweat and it is all. I am just out of it, and I don't want to continue pushing with the game and say something stupid. So appreciate you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed. We'll be back on Monday to continue our Monday campaign. So thank you all. Have a good day or an evening, depending on where you are, and we'll see you next time. If not, we'll see you when we see you.